Hey guys, MikeTheVike here, back for yet another video. This time around we're going to be doing a tutorial video. This isn't something I've done in a while, but a lot of people have been needing my help to switch to Premiere, and instead of doing individually whatever team viewer, I thought I'd make a overall tutorial that I could give to people. This is probably going to be a little bit of a lengthy video, but I'm going to try to be as quick and to the point as possible. Now the first thing you're going to want to do after you have Premiere, whichever way you got it, I don't know. If you are a Nvidia user, you've got a Nvidia graphics card, you go to the install directory, which default is here. You can see there's the pathway, and then you want to search for CUDA. There's easier way to do this, but there you go. You got CUDA supported cards, and you just edit with whatever you want. I'm going to use Notepad++, and then all you're going to want to do is add your graphics card to the list at the bottom here. So in my case it's GeForce GTX 670. You could put, it's basically the same layout, but you put 780, 760, I don't know, 570, whatever you have that isn't on this list already, obviously. And then you could save that and you're done. And now you're ready to use Premiere. So you go ahead and open it up, and you want to start a new project, obviously, if you're just starting out. And then all you have to do here is name the files. We'll just call it name, I don't even know. And the only thing you have to do once is make sure, if you just did the CUDA thing, that it worked, and you'll see that you're using CUDA instead of the like CPU based thing. So make sure your render is good, that you press OK. You ignore all this junk, you don't even care. And then the first thing we're going to have to do is grab some footage. Now this is slightly different than Sony Vegas in that you can't just drag and drop your video onto here and it'll recognize all the streams, like the audio streams. You have to extract them just by right clicking and extracting audio stream. This is at least the process you have to do for Dxtory if you're using Dxtory footage. There's probably a smarter way to do this and maybe some automatic thing, but this is what I've been doing recently. So once you've done extracting it, you'll get your two audio streams. For me, it's one's the game audio, one's the microphone. And once you've done that, on Premiere itself, you go to the project tab and you drag your footage there, and then from there you drag it onto the timeline. And this is the thing we skipped earlier, to just adjust the sequence settings. So you want to change them to whatever your like footage is. So you always want to make sure that you put your footage in first, not like your intro or something, because you want to use your footage obviously first before anything else. So you're done that, and the next thing we're going to want to do obviously is unlink this, because we've got audio for it, not the default one, which just uses the game audio. So we're going to right click, unlink, so that will separate the audio and video. We'll delete that. And then all you have to do is paste on, let me just drag it, dual monitors, you know. Just drag it onto the timeline right below. It'll auto snap, so let's say, I don't know, you put it in the middle for some reason, and it'll auto snap, so that won't be a problem. You'll see when you've got it in the right spot here. So that's done, and you've got your video ready to go. However, you probably want to see the audio, like, you know, ups and downs, levels, I don't know. To do that, all you do is you collapse or expand them here. So you just expand them, boom, you can see the signature. That's what it is, the signature. And, you know, you already have it starting to look pretty similar to Vegas. If you want to expand them and, you know, see the signatures easier, you could just go to the corner or the edge of that tab and expand it. You can make this as large as you want. I don't know. Oh yeah, hang on. Whoa. There you go. That was just my mistake there. As you can see, I changed it. But yeah, so you can now already start editing. The next thing you're probably going to want to do is cut up your footage. To do that, you have to go to your tools here. These are things that you're probably going to be using a lot. The one that we're going to be using for cutting is this one, the splitting tool, I think it's called. The razor tool, whatever. You can either click on it or use the shortcut C. You can see the shortcut by hovering over it or whatever. Once you have it out, all you have to do is just click where you want to cut, and you can go right with the signature or whatever you're doing. And in terms of, like, you might be worried, like, will it all match up? Will it, like, go everywhere? It's pretty smart, so if you're zoomed out and you are generally in the right spot, it will go there for you automatically. Oh, and one thing, how to zoom in on things. All you have to do is hold down Alt and scroll in or scroll out with the mouse wheel. It's basically like Vegas, but a little bit different. It'll go wherever your mouse is going. So, yeah. Anyway, the next thing, I'm trying to do basics, by the way, so you may not need this, but this is what I'm assuming you'll need. So, let's say you want to delete this. This is straightforward, obviously, so you delete that, boom. And, okay, hang on, this is sort of what I did, actually, when I made the video. So, and I'm just jumping through the tools by C and V. V is the selection tool. So you've deleted the gaps here, and normally you'd have to either drag them individually or do this and drag them. But if you're lazy, there's this lovely thing, you just right click it in the gap between them and ripple delete, and it'll kind of put them together, which is lovely. Another thing that you probably want to know is how to do fade-ins and fade-outs. To do a manual fade-in, like just black to the video, you grab the pen tool, which can be found with the P, you just select P or whatever, and boom. And you have to have the video or the track expanded, so you see that little yellow line, I guess whatever, you know. And all you have to do is just create two, I guess like, animation points, sort of. And then you just, so you've got a bunch here, whatever, we only need 2 for a fade in. And then you just bring one to the bottom. This is sort of the percentage, so you can see I can put it at 50% if I want to like do something funky, I don't know. But the basic thing to do is just 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end of the fade out, and then boom, you've got a fade out to that point, which is lovely. And you could do the same thing for audio, obviously. There is something you could do, and this is sort of a transition for effects. So let's say you want to do a video transition, like on Vegas. I know that if you just drag them together, you could do the cross dissolve. To do that on Premiere, all you do is go to the video transitions, dissolve, and then cross dissolve and drag it. It actually does a better job than Vegas. Like, it does a different format to it. I'm not going to bother explaining it, but I prefer this, what it does, you know. So that's how you cross dissolve, and then obviously there is a fade in one that you can do for this. If you're too lazy to do the pen thing, you just fiddle around with the transitions here. You can do like blur or something. So I just search blur, and you can do fast blur in. And it'll, you know, do fancy things if you want to do that sort of stuff. One thing I forgot to touch on is the effects in general. So let's say you want to zoom in on your footage. And we just get rid of this fast blur. I'm not about that life anymore. So one thing that's a little bit different is there's no like event pan crop. To zoom in, you just go to motion, and here you can adjust the like left right of it. You can see it's fairly straightforward. Oops, I don't want to hear that actually. Oh god. You have to have it selected, by the way, if you notice that. Like, if I don't have it selected, then it won't work for me. Anyway, you have it selected, so I don't know, if you want to do a slow zoom, you have to select, it's sort of like animation. It's not as, like, I don't know, it's a little bit more advanced. So you just click this little stopwatch thing. That's your beginning of the animation, and then you want to select the end of it. So you just hit another point by, this is adding keyframes, fairly straightforward. And then, so if you want to change what your end is going to be, the ending scale or whatever, you just line up to that point, and then let's say you want 150 zoom. So it'll then change slowly over time here from 100 scale to 150. And that's easy peasy. And I mean, if you want to make it so that, hang on, let me just, MLG, there you go. If you want to like make it go like up to the top or something, then you just go to the top, easy peasy. And you'll see that, well, just let it happen because it's a bad like example. But yeah, that's straightforward. I just want to show that as a final thing. Oh, and let's say you want to apply an effect to all your things. So let's say, because you're doing 1440p, you want to add your 5 sharpen, because MLG. You just select the effect, Control C, and then you highlight the other footage that you're using, and Control V. And to select multiple clips, you just hold down Shift and click, and easy peasy. So one other thing that you might want to do is add a text or whatever, you know, like insert your text media like on Vegas. And in order to do that, you just go to the title, new title, and for the basics, we're just going to use default still. And you can just do that basics, like, you know, default. And this is pretty straightforward. You can customize it a little bit more than Vegas and use fonts that Vegas wouldn't actually support. And you put in whatever you want to do. You adjust your font here, so if you want American Capital, boom. And then you adjust the size of it by going to the selection. and then just expanding it. You can make it so it does 16:9 scale by holding shift instead of going like spooky crazy. There you go, easy peasy. And then, I don't know, let's say you can add a shadow or something effect to it. You're done editing your text. All you have to do at this point is drag it to the video thing above it. So, boom. And then if you want to, just to kind of rehearse, you know, you just add in, go pen tool, fade in, fade out, and now it'll say that, because that's what we need to do. Another thing I wanted to show was, let's say you've got here, let me do actually exactly what I do. So let's say you have your outro graphics, I just dragged mine in, and I personally am lazy, so I just drag it in 3 times from there. So now we've got 15 seconds of an outro, and you've got your video. Let me just add my video. So I just dragged on the video for the outro, unlinking to delete that, drag it in a little bit, and this is lazy, but just let it happen. So just an example of presets. So let's say you're lazy of going to here and zooming out or whatever so that it lines up perfectly and then rotating it. You know what I'm doing? All you have to, in order to make a preset, I'll just adjust to mine first. I'll just drag mine on initially. But all you have to do is, once you've adjusted your settings to the way you like them, you just right click on that effect and save the preset. So I called mine New Left or whatever, because I had an old one before, but it's, again, straightforward. I just wanted to show that that's how you save things. It's just, you just save the effect, right click save, boom, easy peasy. One thing I finally forgot to add, and you may notice that like my time on the clock is like slightly different every so often, because I keep thinking of things to add to this while I'm editing it. So anyway, one thing I forgot to point out to you guys. So let's say this is your game footage and it's really loud, like I don't know, you're playing Call of Duty or something. No, please no. But anyway, in order to adjust the levels, you can technically adjust it via this line, and you can get, oh god, please let me. So you could see you could go negative to whatever 15. But that's a little bit tedious, and it's, you know, if you've got like slight OCD, it's not going to like straight up 12, it's going to like one weird thing. So easy peasy way to do this, you click on this, you go to the effects control, you expand the volume tab, and if I want the whole thing to be whatever negative 15, get rid of this little clock thing, the animation. So it's just gonna not make it animated, it'll just, the whole thing will be negative 15 or whatever you need to do. Obviously, after you've done that, you can still go to the beginning and fade in or fade up, I don't even know what you want to do. So, you know, just at the beginning, let's say, of an edit, you do want to adjust the audio level to, if, you know, it's too loud for your commentary. It's just one final thing I wanted to point out. So you're ready to render, and in order to do that, all you have to do is, oh man. So all you have to do is make sure that you've got this thing highlighted over the beginning and the end of your video. Just these little tabs. If you have it so that it's like way out there because you had a ton of footage, all you have to, like, you know, you can't see that side. All you do is you click on the other side of it, grab that middle part and drag it back. I noticed that was a problem for me. Anyway, once you've got that all highlighted and your effects and all that, let's, you know, sharpen or whatever you may have wanted to add, you're done. You go to File, Export, Media, and these are personally the settings I use. I go to H.264, and you could just select any of these at the beginning because you won't have a preset, and then all you have to do is just, well, I do personally 1440p, so hang on, oh god, spooky stuff, okay, I'll just go to mine, but you basically have to have your resolution. In my case, I do 2560 by 1440 for 1440p, frame rate 30, aspect, all that jazz, regular, profile high, you want to always do high, you know, that's what you gotta do. Alrighty, then level 5.1, render at maximum depth, VBR 1 pass, and I personally use 25 target and max of 40. The max doesn't really matter, I just do 40 because, like, you know, if it needs to, I guess it could technically use 40, but I use 25. I mean, you could use 20 and get away with it, but I like having a little bit high quality for like backups, I guess. Audio, you could just kind of pause and see here, high quality, 192, and that's all you really need to edit. The only other thing you do is render maximum quality, and you change your output. So boom, there's your output. You just name it to whatever you want by clicking, and you can select the destination, whatever you want to do, and then you just press export and you're ready to go. So boom, it's rendering. And for me, a 1440p video renders a little bit slower than real time, so it's really efficient, which is awesome. And that's going to cover the basics. There's things that I didn't cover in this, but I didn't really want to waste too much time. Obviously, if you have questions past this, you can ask me, or the legit thing to do would be just Google it. So I didn't cover things like how to add saturation, which are a little bit different. But I think that's going to be basically the end of this tutorial. I hope I got everything, and maybe convinced you to switch over to this. It may not be as easy to use as Vegas right away, but that's probably because you used Vegas for quite a while. Like me, I used Vegas for, I think 3 years, and I finally switched over to Premiere, and I so far have no regrets. Obviously, Vegas is, you know, in some ways easier to use, but overall, the render times and the efficiency, like the ripple delete thing, it's just, I like it more now, and I'm happy I switched. But yet again, guys, that's gonna be basically it. Hopefully this helped you out in some way or another. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.